Hi, we're recording here live from HMPS, and I'm excited to sit down with Tom Lawry, who I just sat through your keynote presentation on AI.
I'm equally excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm happy that you're here. Excited about our conversation, but before we get in, share a little bit about yourself for people listening.
Well, I'm a recovering Microsoft executive. My last role was National Director for Artificial Intelligence for Health and Life Sciences at Microsoft. I've spent probably 15 years in advanced analytics applied to healthcare, including AI. So, I've been working in that area for a long time, always in health and medicine, projects with great organizations around the world. And now that AI has become a super hot topic, I've gone from just being this geeky guy to being part of the cool kid crowd.
And you've written a couple of books about this.
Yes, I've got 3 books out. My last one just released worldwide 4 weeks ago, called Healthcare Nation.
Yes, and what's interesting about that is you really talk about our industry and what leaders in our industry across various different walks of life need to understand about this mysterious nascent technology called AI, because it is relatively nascent, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, as we just talked about in my keynote, AI has been around for at least 50 years, but since fall of 2022, it kind of became the tipping point with things like large language models and generative AI coming screaming out of the labs and into the mainstream. So there are a lot of great things happening with AI. I think a lot of people are perplexed, and I think it's less about the AI itself and a lot more about the velocity of change that is requiring all leaders to manage. We're just not used to going this fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a pretty daunting thing. I mean, when you open up one of your LLMs, like ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, whatever it is, you're faced with this open box that the perception is you can have it do anything for you. And that's sort of it's like this concept of everythingism to me. I'm not really sure that's the way we want to think about this. So I'd love your framing today for healthcare leaders.
Yeah, I mean, Gen AI, like large language models, like all forms of AI, they are tools. Now, they are different than any other technology people have worked with, and I could go into the characteristics, but it's just to say, they are amazing tools. They are evolving almost at warp speed, but they are tools. Tools allow leaders, clinicians, and others to start reimagining, rethinking processes. Value comes not from the technology, but from humans deciding to evaluate and change clinical and workflow processes that AI can come in behind to make that possible. When the process changes, which is human, that's when magic happens. When people think AI can do anything, anywhere, anytime, that's where people usually struggle, and you don't see that measurable value at scale.
And and that's why some people have this concern about like AI is going to replace my job, and there's even a heard at some health systems there's sort of like an internal backlash against the adoption of AI because of that concern. But that's not the case at all, right?
No, I think it's the opposite. But to your point, it's interesting to me, particularly healthcare in America. Every healthcare organization in America is using some form of AI now. And oftentimes, you see leadership at the top are, working, they're taking classes, they're investing. So they're calibrated. They're hiring, say, data scientists and others, but in between the top and those techies are typically 10 or 20,000 people who are clinicians and rev cycle specialists. They're hearing, reading things outside, and they're driving home at night thinking, I wonder what this means to me in my career. So to your point, I believe there's a huge upskilling initiative that must happen across healthcare organizations, not just with the top, not just with the techies, but helping groups like nurses. So for example, I've been predicting for at least 3 years that AI would become a bargaining issue for nurses. And recently there was a case where a large health system in New York, it was one of the top bargaining issues when it came to getting a new contract with nurses. Same with on the West Coast about a year ago, there were pickets out in front of Kaiser with nurses carrying placards that unfortunately said, nurses not AI, which to me is the wrong message. The real message is, how do we involve groups like nurses to help plan, deploy, and manage AI? So upskilling is needed. The smartest people to figure out the best uses for AI are the ones on the front lines of nursing, physicians. I mean, they're the ones that know which processes need to be improved.
Right, and which ones can be automated through these tools, but it's really connecting them through to understand actually the power of that technology, the tool.
And it's the same thing here at this conference where the majority of people here are marketing leaders, and it's the same thing. Marketing is going to go through a dramatic transformation. Done right, imagine our ability to go from talking about personalized care to delivering highly personalized care, information, proactive management based on many factors relating to just you. I mean, to me, that's the promise. The tools are there, and now it's a matter of the right experts coming together to say, how do we use these tools to rethink, reimagine, and redeploy healthcare as we know it today in America?
Because that's the way we need to do that. We need to transform what we're doing. Tom, this has been a great conversation. I'm glad you sat down with me.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that. And I'm glad there are people like you that are out there advocating and helping us understand.
I appreciate that, but as I always say, changing healthcare, it's a collective effort. It's all of us. But anyway, it's great to be at the conference. It's great to be talking to you because it's, together we're going to figure out how to take what we have and apply it to making healthcare better.